Hello, everyone. The paragraph that I chose is from the Continental Op, The Golden Horseshoe. And I want to give context before I read my paragraph because I believe this is important to the hard-boiled uh, detective fiction. Because the hard-boiled detective fiction is very unpredictable. There are things that happen uh, almost spontaneously, but for a reason. And I think that's very important because it's very different to what we are used to, as in what we read before, like from the Holmes as well as from Milne's detective fiction. So the locked room and the classic, all-knowing detective. Uh, this paragraph that I'm reading, uh, it's about when the op is speaking to the attorney and letting him know what he knew or what he guessed, as it says in the story. And after he speaks to attorney, the attorney suggests that he goes and tells Mrs. Ashford that he's gonna go see him. I mean, he's gonna ring her up or send her a letter. So later down there, the op goes to Mrs. Ashford's house. Mrs. Ashcraft's house, and he tries to get her attention by knocking on the door. There's no response. He speaks to uh, a person who's there where he's taking care of the lawn, and the person themselves don't hasn't heard anything since yesterday. So, as a true detective, he gets curious and he tries to find out what's going on. So, the paragraph that I'm going to read says he was dead. One eye was cut and his throat was gashed straight across, close up under his chin. I could see the killing without even shutting my eyes. At the top of the stairs, the killer's left hand dashing into the Filipino's face, thumbnail gouging into an eye, pushing the brown face back, tightening the brown throat for the knife's edge, the slash, and the shove down the steps. I chose this passage because that alone is what a hard-boiled detective fiction is. It is very, very vivid. It paints you a picture of what uh, going to happen or what already could have happened. Now, this is him uh, taking all the facts that he's seen in that current crime scene that he's in, and that's him thinking to himself that that's how it happened. And in hardboiled detective fictions, it's interesting because not the other detective fictions that we read, all of them were very uh, quick with the death. They were struck, or um, it was something very simple, or either shot or stabbed or something like that. But for hard-boiled detective fictions, it's very gruesome. It's almost too true that as the reader you have to accept the fact that that person was brutally murdered. So as we read on, he also finds the maid. Now, the way he describes it is he says she was bunched on the floor face down, with knees drawn up under her and both hands clasped to her stomach. She wore a nightgown, and her hair was in a braid down her back. I put a finger on the back of her neck, stone cold, kneeling on the floor to avoid the necessity of turning her over. I looked at her face. She was the maid who had admitted Richmond and me 4 days ago. You see, this is something that hardboiled detective fictions are very good at. They're very good at allowing you to connect uh, a person who was alive to now being murdered. It's shocking. It's almost as if, as the reader, you connect with the story. You connect with the Continental Op because you're interacting almost with these people, and that I think is important and interesting because that's a total different twist on reading detective fiction. This was interesting to me because it almost humanized the deaths, if that makes sense. It almost makes it seem like um, those are possible deaths that can happen, and it's just it changes your point of view from how a locked room mystery to a hard-boiled mystery where one is more focused on the puzzles and the problem solving while the other is focused on the facts on what has happened or how did that crime or murder occur. And I hope you enjoyed this video.